Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Haugen. Hey, today we're going to work on lesson 11 in our blue math packet. So be sure you have that in front of you ready to go. Today's target is to solve the problems below using one of three strategies that we've learned this year. You may either use the arrow way, you may subtract, or you may count up. I will warn you, if you are using the subtraction strategy, just solving vertically, that's a little bit tricky, so I will go over that, so be sure to listen really carefully. So number 1 says, count up using the arrow way to complete each number sentence. Then use coins to check your answers if possible. So you don't have to worry about the coin part. However, if you want to use a different strategy than the arrow way, I'm okay with that too. So they give you, for A, an example of how to count up using the arrow way, and I think for a lot of you that's going to be the quickest way to do this. So they want us to start at 25 cents, and they want us to count up to get to 100 cents or $1. So they start us out by adding 5. So we know that 25 plus 5 is 30, and then 30 plus something is 100. Well, we know that 3 and 7 makes 10, so that means 30 and 70 would make 100. Now remember, in order to get the final answer, what we're looking at is we're looking at the numbers that we added up here at the top. So I'm looking at 70 plus 5 to give me a final answer of 75. And I know if I have 1 quarter and I add 3 more quarters, that's going to get me 4 quarters or $1. So I know that makes sense. So for some of you, this is going to be the quickest way and probably the most efficient way to get the correct answer. I'll show you another way on B. So they want us to start at 45 and they want us to count up to get to 100. There's a few ways we can do this. One is if we start at 45, I'm going to start way over here to give me some room here. So we can do some skip counting to get us all the way to 100. So I am going to do a big skip count. So I can do in my head 45, 55, 65, 75, 85, 95. And what I did there is on my fingers, I was counting how many tens I was using, and I used 5 tens there, which means I added 50 to get to my 95. So I'll explain that again. I started at 45 and I counted by tens to get me as close to the 95, or as close to the 100, I'm sorry, as I possibly can. So again, I started at 45 and I counted by tens. 55, 65, 75, 85, 95. So adding 5 tens was a total of adding 50. Now, I only need to add 5 more to get me to 100. So if you think about what did I have to add here all together to get me to 100? Well, I added 50 and I added 5, which was a total of 55 cents. So that tells me that 45 plus 55 is 100. And to let me show you, if you remember from school, a really easy way to check that is to try the addition to see if it works. And if it doesn't, erase it and start over. So if I check my addition here, 5 plus 5 equals 10. So that's 1, 10, 0 once. And then 5 plus 4 is 9, plus 1 more is 10. And that shows me that I'm correct, that 45 plus 55 really is 100. Now, the other way you could do that is by subtracting. So let me get a different color. You could actually start with 100 and you could subtract the 45. Now, in class, gosh, that was probably a couple months ago, we learned that when you subtract, you first have to find the big number. Well, I know there's more on the floor, and that tells me to go next door and get 10 more. The problem here is there is nothing next door. There's 0 tens. So I can't take from 0. So what I have to do here, do you remember? I have to bundle. So now I have 10 tens. And if I take one of those, now I have 9 tens. So I will write that as a 0, 9. Now that's my take 10. So now I'm going to give 10. So I have 9 here, and I have 10 ones. Now that I have more on the top, I can subtract. 10 minus 5 is 5. And 9, take away 4, is also 5. So if you see, as long as I use the strategies correctly, both strategies got me an answer of 55 cents. 45 cents plus 55 cents equals $1. Let's look at C. Again, you choose the strategy. You can count up or you can subtract. So for this one, I'm going to start out subtracting. And the reason I'm subtracting is because I'm missing a part here. 100 is my total, so that means I'm missing a part. And when I need to find a part, I subtract. So 100 minus 62. Let's check. More on the floor, go next door, and get 10 more. So I can't take from a 0, so I have to bundle. So now instead of having 10 tens, I have 0, 9. That's my take 10. Here's my give 10. So now I have more on the top. I can subtract. 10 minus 2 equals 8. And 9 minus 6 equals 3. So 62 cents plus 38 cents equals 100 cents. Now you can also count up. From 62, I can count as many tens as possible to get to as close to 100 as I can without going over. And I will keep track of my tens on my fingers so I don't lose track. So 62, 72, 82, 92. That's all the farther I can go. And I held up 3 fingers, and 3 tens would be 30. So now that I'm at 92, how many do I need to add to that to get to 100? 2 plus what will give me my next number? 2 plus 8 will give me my next number. So remember, to find my final answer, I'm looking at how much did I have to add up here on the top, and luckily it matches. 30 plus 8 equals my missing number of 38. So doing this 2 ways, using 2 completely different strategies, is also a good way to check your answer. So for D, I have some number plus 79 equals 100. Now for this one, I am also missing a part, so I can choose to subtract 100 minus 79. Again, when I look at the ones place, I see I have more on the floor, so I need to go next door and get 10 more. However, there's nothing there, so let's bundle. Now I take 10, so I have 0, 9. Now I give 10. So I have 10 ones minus 9 is 1, and 9 tens minus 7 equals 2. So hopefully I'm correct when I say that 21 cents plus 79 cents equals 100 cents. So let's check that just to be sure. So if I'm at 79, I'm going to count as many tens as I can to get me as close to 100 without going over. So I will keep track on my fingers. 79, 89, 99. Well, that was only 2 fingers I held up, and 2 tens is 20. So that got me to 99. So how many do I need to get to 100? Just 1. And to find my final answer, I look at everything that I added up here at the top. And again, I got an answer of 21. On the bottom, they want us to solve using the arrow way, and they want us to draw a number bond. Drawing the number bond, I'm not going to require this on the homework. However, drawing a number bond helps us understand whether we need to add or subtract. This is what we were talking about earlier. When we were doing problem C and D, for example, we were talking about how we were missing a part, how the 100 was our total, so that went up here at the top. And then what we were missing was a part, and that tells me I need to subtract, or like we were doing with the arrow way, counting up. So they want us to start at 19 and count up to 100. That could work. 19, we'll do as many tens as we can. We can combine those together. So 19, 29, 39, 49, 59, 69, 79, 89, 99. Wow, I got really close. And I held up 8 fingers to get to that 89. I counted by tens 8 times. So that was an 80. That was a huge jump. Now, if I'm at 99, how many do I need to get to 100? Just 1, right? So to find my final answer to go in the blank, I need to add the numbers at the top here. An 80 plus 1 is 81. So 19 cents plus 81 got me to 100. And to check that, I could write down 19 plus 81 and add it to be sure I'm correct. Let me show you how to subtract this one. So I could start with 100, and I would write down minus 19. Now again, when I'm subtracting, I need to find the big number that will tell me what to do. And more on the floor tells me to go next door and get 10 more. But there's nothing. So I have to bundle. So my 10 tens now becomes 0, 9. And now I have 10 ones. Take 10, give 10. When I subtract, 10 minus 9 equals 1. And in the tens place, 9 minus 1 equals 8. So as long as you do the strategies correctly, you will get the same answer. For B, 77 plus something gives me 100. So 77, count by tens, we'll get to as close to 100 as we can without going over. So 77, 87, 97. Well, I only held up 2 fingers, so that was 2 tens, which was 20. And then from 97, how many do I need to make 100? Just 3. Very good. So my final answer to go in the blank is what? 20 and 3 is 23. So hopefully using the arrow way to break down this problem means it's something that you can do in your head, and I guarantee you will get really fast at this if you're practicing the arrow way like this. For C, 100 minus 53. Now this time, are we looking for a total or a part? Well, again, I'm looking for a part. 100 is still my total. Remember, when you subtract, you start with the big number. So the 100 still is my big number. I'm still looking for a part. So I can still start at 53. And I'm going to count by tens, get as close to 100 as I can without going over. So here we go. 53, 63, 73, 83, 93. I held up 4 fingers on that one. That was 4 tens I counted. So that was 40. And I ended at 93. Again, 53, 63, 73, 83, 93. Now from 93 to 100, what is the number that goes with 3 to get me to the next 10? It's 3 plus 7. So the number that I need to put in the blank is what? The number that goes in the blank is 47, and please don't forget your cent sign, 47 cents. So as you're doing your work for math today in Class Kick, you can choose whichever strategy works for you. You can count up with the arrow way, or you can do the regular subtraction. It's up to you. Just take your time and do a really great job.